Welcome back to the channel. This is Trendy Storm, and you are watching third part of What If Naruto Found Death God's Weapon. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Now, wasting no more time, let's start the story.
Tsunade has been back in the village for 5 days now. She started working at the hospital, and she was able to heal everyone who was hurt during the invasion. Now she was teaching the doctors and nurses so they could be ready for anything. She also got Sasuke and Kakashi to wake up in the Tsukuyomi. Before going after Naruto, Itachi and Kisame stopped by the village. They were looking for Yumi, but they ended up finding Kurenai and Asuma instead. After a few minutes, Kakashi and Guy joined the battle. After that, the members of the Akatsuki left the village to look for Naruto. Sasuke only knew this because a shinobi wasn't paying attention and Sasuke heard him talking about his brother and where he was going. And he ran after his brother to kill him without giving it a second thought. When he woke up, he saw that he was weak, a lot weaker than Itachi. Sasuke wasn't the only one who knew he wasn't strong enough, though. Naruto realized that he wasn't good enough at fighting with a scythe. He could hold out for a while. It's not enough, though. He also had to figure out how to get away from the Sharingan's genjutsu. Naruto trained harder than he ever had before to solve these problems. He started to learn different ways to fight with a scythe and then made up his own. When his body was too tired to train, he learned everything he could about genjutsu and how to avoid it. When someone knocked on his door, he was at home reading a scroll about a new way to fight. Naruto. I'm calling. Mom. Can I come in? Kushina asked from the other side, and Naruto could only sigh. Yes, the answer was simple. Naruto and Kushina walked into the room. In the room, there was a bed, a dresser, a desk with a chair, and many scrolls. What do you want? Asked Naruto in a cold voice because he didn't like it when people got in his way. I'm sorry to wake you up, but your father wants to see you, said Kushina. Naruto just made a frown. What is he doing now? Asked Naruto. The Iwa delegate has arrived with your bride, and your father wants you to go to his office to meet her. Kushina said something, but Naruto just kept looking at his scroll. I told you I don't want a wife. Give her someone else to talk to and stop bothering me, Naruto said. I'll keep reading, and he did. Naruto, you know you have to get married. I've heard that she is a very strong shinobi, and if the rumors are true, she is also pretty. Give her a chance. I'm sure she will surprise you, Kushina said this with a smile, but Naruto didn't look at her at all. He has just read. Kushina saw that this didn't work, so she thought of something else. If you go meet her, I'll give you a scroll about the Sharingan and its genjutsu. Naruto stopped what he was doing and looked at Kushina. Why do you have a scroll about the Sharingan? Asked Naruto why he thought this was strange, since only the Uchiha clan should have had a scroll like this. After the Uchiha clan was killed, the Hokage learned as much as they could about the Sharingan and what it could do, because there was a rogue Uchiha out there who needed to be dealt with. So, Minato gathered the scrolls to find a place where the Sharingan was weak. Kushina and Naruto thought about it. He needed information about that damned eye, but Sasuke wouldn't talk about it and Kakashi wouldn't help. How do I know you're not trying to trick me? Asked Naruto. Why would I lie to my own child? Kushina asked, but Naruto did nothing but laugh at this one. This is not a question you want an answer to, Naruto said this with a smile. Very well. I will meet her. But if I don't get this scroll, I'll cut her up and your alliance can go to hell, Naruto said it, and Kushina gasped because the way Naruto said it made it sound like he would do it. Naruto got up and put his scythe on his back. He left the house and started walking to the Hokage tower. As he walked, he heard the villagers talking about him. They wouldn't have attacked him after what he did, but they still hated him. Naruto could only laugh at their stupid actions. They were afraid of what they didn't understand, so they hated it instead of trying to understand it. Ah, Naruto, it's good to see you. We were waiting for you, said Minato, and Naruto took a few steps towards him. The Iwaku no Ichi walked up to Naruto and smiled arrogantly. So you're meant to be my groom. Don't get me wrong. But the old man said I would marry a strong man. And I don't think you're that strong, Kuretsuchi said this, but all Naruto did was smile. You know, that Iwa team almost said the same thing before I killed them all, he said. Naruto said this with a wicked grin. When Kuretsuchi heard this, her eyes got bigger. Oh yes. They thought they would be able to kill me, but I was stronger. In the forest of the dead, I cut them into pieces. Then, in the preliminary rounds, I had a fight with a sound shinobi. First, I cut off his arms. When he pooped and peed himself, I walked over and cut off his head. He sobbed like a child. During the last part of the exam, I embarrassed my sister, who is a Biju. Then, during the invasion, I killed 52 enemy shinobi. And in the end, I beat Shukaku. If you think I'm weak, let's go out and find out if you're right. Minato and Jiraiya weren't really surprised by Naruto's victims because they already knew about them. So you were the one who killed those 3 fools, Kuretsuchi said this with a bit of surprise. Are you angry? Asked Naruto. Not really. They were idiots, and I was surprised that the old man let them take the Chunin exam, said Kuretsuchi. But you started to get my attention. We could maybe train a little, said Kuretsuchi. Okay, everybody, calm down. We need to talk about the wedding. Minato said something, and everyone looked at him. I've told you more than once, father, I don't want to get married, Naruto said. Minato doesn't care about what I need right now, but Minato has never cared about what Naruto needs. I'm sorry, Naruto, but you have no say in this, Minato spoke in a calm voice. You should show your father more respect. He helped you get this strong by training you. Now he wants to make sure you have a wife for the rest of your life, Onoki said. Turn around, and Naruto did. Tsuchikage-sama, what the hell are you talking about? Naruto asked with an angry look, but Onoki wasn't scared. The Hokage told me that he was the one who taught you, and... Onoki said this, but Naruto quickly pulled out his scythe and slammed the blade of it into the desk, breaking it. Everyone was shocked because it happened so quickly. What kinds of lies did you tell the Tsuchikage, my dear father? Asked Naruto in a horrible way. About what are you talking? Asked Onoki, who had been surprised by the attack. This man never trained me. He left me in the dust. I started training at the academy when I was 8. The teachers didn't teach me much, and when I had a Junin sensei, he wasn't much better. He let us take the Chunin exam because he hated me and wanted me to fail, said Naruto. Why do you think they hate you? This time, he asked Kuretsuchi. I hold the soul of the Kyuubi, which is why they think I'm the fox. My sister, on the other hand, holds the chakra, said Naruto. So, Hokage Dono, you lied because, Onoki said, and Minato let out a sigh. I lied to make myself look good in your and the Kage's eyes, but I didn't think about an alliance between our countries at the time. Minato and Naruto only made him shake his head, he said. I don't care if you make your little group, but I'm out of here. Naruto said, I'm leaving, and he got up. Naruto, wait. Minato yelled, but Naruto just shut the door hard. Minato was only able to sigh. I'll go find him, said Kuretsuchi, and Onoki nodded. Let's talk a little, Hokage Dono, but this time leave your lies out of it, with a little glare, Onoki said, and Minato sighed again. He knew the day would be long. Naruto left the tower to clear his mind and went to the training grounds. Kuretsuchi joined him as he walked to that place. Naruto tried to act like she wasn't there, but it was hard since she looked at him from every angle. Naruto had had enough after 10 minutes. What do you want? Naruto asked. He was very angry and just wanted to be left alone. I just want to learn a little more about you, Kuretsuchi said this with a smile. I don't need a girl fan, Naruto said this, which made her angry. How dare you call me a fangirl? I'm way stronger than a want Tobi Kunoichi. Kuretsuchi said this with a red face. Then prove to me that you are strong. I need to hit something, and as long as you don't die, you'll be fine. Naruto and Kuretsuchi just smiled, the man said. You can be sure I won't die so easily, said Kuretsuchi. After talking, they walked together, and 10 minutes later, they were on a training ground with a lot of trees. Then let's begin, said Naruto, and Kuretsuchi nodded. Naruto tried to catch Kuretsuchi with chains of Judeka, but she was faster and jumped up. In the air, she made hand signs for the fire release Great Fireball Jutsu. When Naruto saw the fireball, he jumped up too. But this was all part of Kuretsuchi's plan. I think we should stop, or else there won't be anything left of the forest, but I can keep going if it makes you feel better. If you want to stop, I won't say anything, though. Naruto said this as he puffed. Like hell, I give up. Your chakra is almost gone. I only need to keep going for a few more minutes to win, Kuretsuchi yelled. So let's keep going, princess, Naruto said. I'll run to Kuretsuchi, and then he and Kuretsuchi both fell over from exhaustion. Looks like it is a tie, Naruto replied. Yes, and Kuretsuchi nodded. Well, at least I know you're strong, and I'm going to marry you, said Kuretsuchi. I have no need of anyone. You are strong, but I want to be by myself, said Naruto. I can see that you hate your family and the whole village. I wouldn't be surprised if you hated the whole world. But come on, don't you want a family and happiness? You could move away and come with me to Iwa. Only I and the old man would know about the fox's soul. You could start a new life. You could have everything you've ever wanted, said Kuretsuchi. And Naruto began to think about what had been said. It looked really good. But as time went on, he learned that whenever life gave him something good, someone would take it away. Like when someone gave him something to eat that was poison, or when they gave him a gift that was a knife to stab him. So Naruto couldn't really take advantage of this offer. I learned that happiness, like friendship and love, is just an illusion. I don't need anyone or anything because of this, said Naruto. Then what do you fight for? I can see that you don't care about anything and that you would be happier dead, so you don't fight to stay alive. What do you fight for? Asked Kuretsuchi. I don't know. At first, I thought I fought to prove I was worth something. But now that I've shown I'm stronger by beating my sister in Shukaku, I don't know, said Naruto. Then follow me, said Kuretsuchi. We will see. But we need to go back now, Naruto said. I'm going to get up, and he did. It was hard because of his injuries, but he was able to stay on his feet. He then helped Kuretsuchi get up. You have to go back to which hotel? Naruto was holding Kuretsuchi when he was asked. The gold leaf, Kuretsuchi agreed, and Naruto nodded. As they started to walk back, Naruto heard a growl, which was Kuretsuchi's stomach. You're lucky that there's a little restaurant along the way where you can eat, because that's the only place I could get food, said Naruto. It took a while, but they finally made it to the Ichiraku ramen restaurant. The place was small, but it was good. At least that's what Naruto thought. A ramen stand? You think this is the best place to take me? With some anger, Kuretsuchi asked. No, this is the only place where we can both get food, so stop whining. Naruto told them to go inside and sit down. Out came a young woman. She wore an apron and had long brown hair. Good morning. What can I do for you? The girl then saw Naruto, she said. Oh, Naruto. It's good to see you again. Next time you come, you could take a shower and wear a shirt. I don't mind seeing your muscles, but Dad does, Ayame, who was the owner's daughter, said. Hi, Ayame. Can you give us 2 bowls of pork ramen? Naruto replied, and Ayame just nodded. Dad, we need 2 pork ramens here, Ayame yelled. Right now, Ayame's father yelled back. So, Naruto, who is this young woman? You finally stopped saying, you want to be alone, and found a girlfriend, right? Asked Ayame, and Kuretsuchi answered before Naruto could. In fact, I am his bride, Kuretsuchi said, and Ayame's mouth fell open. You are what? Ayame yelled, and then her dad came in with the ramen. The ramen is here, the owner, Tucci, said this, and then he saw his daughter. Naruto just sighed, and while they ate, he told them what was going on. Oh, I see, so this whole thing was your dad's idea, Ayame said this after she had calmed down a bit. Yes. But what were you hoping for? Asked Naruto. Don't worry about that, but you should take care of her, Naruto. With a small glare, Ayame said. I never told her I was going to marry her, said that made Naruto and Kuretsuchi a little sad. How can you say that, Naruto? You have the chance to be happy, but you throw it away. Ayame yelled. The last time I thought I had found happiness, I lost it the next day. Naruto said, I remember what Hinata did, and he did. You mean what Hinata did? She felt bad about it. She was here a few days ago and told me all about it. You should have given her a chance. Ayame said something, but Naruto just frowned. What's the point? So that she could hurt me again after being threatened again. I don't need someone with a weak mind or who is afraid to stand up for themselves. Naruto kept eating after he said this. Who is this girl Hinata? Asked Kuretsuchi. Naruto just sighed and then told his whole story. And he didn't say a word. He told her that his family didn't care about him or his training, that too many people in the village tried to kill him, that his senseis never taught him anything, and so on. When he was done, he was sure that Kuretsuchi had tears in his eyes. You know everything there is to know about me, Naruto said this when he was done with his ramen. Then why didn't you marry? You could be happy, asked Kuretsuchi. Because I know that this marriage was set up just for show. My father wants to show how friendly our countries are now. And I won't be his chess piece, Naruto spoke, and then he stood up. Come with me, and I'll take you to the hotel, Naruto replied, yes, and Kuretsuchi nodded. Then Naruto paid for the food and left. Naruto and Kuretsuchi walked quietly and got to the hotel after a few minutes. Here we are. Good night, Naruto said, I'm going, but Kuretsuchi grabbed his arm and stopped him. I appreciate the day, said Kuretsuchi and kissed his cheek. Naruto got a little red, but a few seconds later, he got his cool back. I don't care, Naruto said, I'm leaving, and he got up. Naruto, there is always a chance to be happy, and I'm happy to give you that chance. Please take it. Kuretsuchi and Naruto stopped for a moment, Kuretsuchi said. Then they kept going home. Kuretsuchi just sighed and walked inside. While Naruto was walking home, he had this thought. And what if I no longer want happiness? Naruto walked calmly, and when he got to his house, it was already night. When he went inside, he saw that his so-called family was having dinner. Naruto pretended that they weren't there and went straight to the toilet to take a shower. But he didn't get lucky because Kushina saw him. Why don't you come with us, Naruto? This place has a lot of food, Kushina said this, but Naruto didn't listen. Come on, Ni-sama, I know you're hungry, said Yumi. I went to the Ichiraku ramen stand and ate. I am not hungry, Naruto said, I'm going to the toilet. Naruto took a shower and washed down the blood and the dirt from his body. After he finished, he took on the same kind of brown trousers he always wore. But he didn't put on his armors. He went to his room hoping the scroll would be there. It was funny for him, but there was a scroll on his desk. But he couldn't open it because Minato called him from the dining room. Naruto only growled, then went down. When he went in the dining room, he saw his parents, Jiraiya and Hiruzen. What's that? With some anger, Naruto asked. Naruto, luckily, I was able to solve the problem I made with the help of the Tsuchikage, Minato said. There's more, but Naruto knew there was. And he said he didn't want his granddaughter to get married to someone I hadn't trained. Minato and Naruto thought he was lucky, he said. He doesn't have to get married anymore. But Naruto's luck was awful. But when we saw how you fought against Kuretsuchi, everything changed. Minato and Naruto looked at him as if he had grown a second head, he said. Wait, what? Asked Naruto. Through Hiruzen's crystal ball, we watched your fight. Everyone was shocked and amazed by how good you and Kuretsuchi were. Minato and Naruto knew this was a bad part, they said. The Tsuchikage will let this lie go if you marry Kuretsuchi tomorrow. So get ready to be a husband, because Kuretsuchi will be your wife tomorrow. I beg your pardon. Excuse me, said Naruto, who couldn't believe what he had just heard. Minato said in a calm voice, you heard it. Tomorrow at 12 o'clock, you and Kuretsuchi are getting married. And what makes you think I'll do what you say? Asked Naruto, who was getting really mad. Because I'm your Hokage, I tell you to, Minato said. But as a wedding gift from me, you can choose where you want to live with her. Kushina looked at Minato with wide eyes when she heard this. But she wasn't the only one who heard this because Yumi also heard it by listening in on them. Naruto said, this doesn't change the fact that you need me to be a pawn in your little game. Minato told Naruto, there's nothing else you can do. If you stay here, you'll become a Chunin, but you can't go on higher rank missions because if you died on a B or a rank mission, the alliance would end. If Naruto went to Iwa, the Tsuchikage would decide which missions he could go on. If he tried to run away, Jiraiya, his spies, and every hunter shinobi will look for him. He didn't want to kill himself because that would have been a cowardly thing to do. And killing Kuretsuchi was not an option for two reasons. First, she had never done anything to him. The second is that she didn't do anything wrong. Naruto didn't see anything in her that he couldn't forgive. He didn't want to tell Minato, but he won this turn. He had to get married. Well, it looks like you won, father. But don't think I'll do this for you or the village. Naruto said, I'll only do it to get out of this shithole. He then went back to his room. Minato said to Naruto, one more thing, Naruto, and Naruto stopped. What? Asked Naruto. Minato told Naruto, from time to time, you have to go back to the village for a short time. Also, we don't expect it right now, but you have to have kids. Naruto just laughed and went to his room. Minato only sighed when he left. What the hell, Minato? Why did you give him the choice of where to live? Kushina, who was angry about her husband's decision, said, with this, we'll never be able to fix our family. Kushina, his blood is boiling with anger and hate right now, and we can't do anything about it. I think a few years away from the village will calm him down, and then we can try to fix our family. Who knows, maybe he will move back, too, said Minato, and Kushina started to watch the ground because Minato was right. Before they could talk any further, Yumi walked in. So you will let Nii-sama go? What's up with Hinata? Yumi, who was a little scared, asked, does she love him? Minato said, I'm sorry, Yumi, but I can't help Hinata. I don't want to say it, but it was her fault that she didn't do anything. But her father forced her to do it. Yumi yelled at her in anger, she couldn't do anything. Minato said, if she really wanted to be his friend, she should have been tougher. She gave up right away when Hiyashi tried to blackmail her. She should have fought harder, but Yumi wasn't persuaded. But, said Yumi. Minato asked Yumi, if someone blackmails you like this, will you do what they say or fight? Yumi understood what was going on. I would fight, Yumi said in a quiet voice. Minato said, I didn't hear you. I would battle. Yumi yelled. Minato said, that's right, you would fight, but she didn't fight. She gave up as soon as things started to get complicated. Yumi and Minato wanted to say something, but they realized it wouldn't have made a difference. I'm sorry, Yumi, but Hinata has to stop caring about Naruto. Now go to bed, tomorrow will be a long day, Minato told Yumi, and Yumi agreed. After Yumi left, the others still talked about some wedding details, and then they all went to bed. The next day, everyone got up early to start getting ready for the wedding. They wanted to hold the wedding at the village shrine, and the local priest would perform the ceremony. Minato had already ordered a kimono for Naruto, so he didn't have to worry about that. Kuretsuchi also brought her kimono for the wedding. By noon, everyone was in the shrine. There were the Shinobi Council and the few members of the Civilian Council who hadn't been arrested. The ceremony wasn't too long. Everyone agreed that a political marriage didn't have to be too long. However, everyone had their own thoughts about it. Shikamaru thought it was too much trouble and that it would be better to just not get married at all. Choji mostly thought about what he could eat after the wedding. After the wedding, they had a small reception. Since there wasn't much time to make a lot of food, there were only 2 dishes and a dessert. After the reception, everyone congratulated the young couple and wished them luck. In the afternoon, Naruto stayed at home and started packing his things. Kuretsuchi helped him, but it wasn't necessary because he didn't have a lot of things. Just a few clothes, books and scrolls. The next day, everyone was at the gate to say goodbye to Naruto and the Iwa delegate. Kushina and Yumi hugged Naruto, but he didn't hug them back. He found this annoying. Minato didn't try to hug his son because he knew what would have been the answer. His former classmates said goodbye and gave him good advice, but Naruto felt it was a little forced. The senseis did the same, but Naruto felt the same. When Tsuchikage-sama, I'd like 1 minute, please, Naruto said, and Onoki sighed and nodded. Naruto said, thank you, and then he turned to his parents. Naruto said, before I leave, I think it's time to give you what I've already given Jiraiya, Yumi, and Hinata. Minato and Kushina's eyes grew wide. But before they could do anything, they felt like they had no choice but to get the tattoo. In the past, Minato sealed the Kyuubi into his children 5 years ago. But things weren't going too well. Naruto was seen as a monster, but his daughter was seen as a hero. Minato was doing paperwork in his office when an Anbu showed up. Her hair was long and purple. Hokage-sama, I have to tell you that your son, Uzumaki Naruto, was attacked again. Even though he wasn't hurt too badly, I took him to the hospital anyway. The Anbu agent said, and her code name was Neiko, which means cat. Minato said, thank you, Neiko. That's enough. You can go back to your post. He didn't look at the agent. But Hokage-sama. This was the 4th attack in a week, and each time, the villagers get braver. Neiko said, I know it's none of my business, but you should do something before they kill him. Minato, however, didn't care what Neiko thought. Minato said, I can't do anything. If I try to stop them, they'll think I'm controlled by the Kyuubi or something like that, and then they'll vote to get rid of me. Neiko looked at him with wide eyes, but it couldn't be seen because of the mask. Are you telling me that you would let your son die just so you wouldn't lose your job? Neiko asked, who was now angry. Minato said, I'm not happy about this, but there's no one else who could become Hokage right now. Neiko didn't believe him. But, for God's sake, he's your son, Neiko said. Minato said, give the villagers some time. In a few years, they'll calm down and realize Naruto isn't a demon. Even he didn't believe this, though. I wish I could take you seriously. But I am sure you do a great mistake, said Neiko. Minato said in a threatening way, I hope you don't plan to betray me. No, I don't turn on you. I just said my opinion, said Neiko. I'll ask for your opinion when I want it, so go back to your post, Minato said angrily. Neiko said, as you wish, Hokage-sama, and then he left the room. Minato said after Neiko left, first and foremost, I am the Hokage. It is my job to protect the village. If I have to sacrifice one person to save everyone, so be it, even if it is my own son. Flashback ends. Minato in the past. Minato just got to work this morning, but someone was already there waiting for him. Good morning, Minato, she said. What's up? Jiraiya asked, who was in Minato's office. Minato said, "Good morning, sensei." "I'm fine, thanks. What can I do for you?" Jiraiya said, "I just got back to give you my report and tell you something important." Minato listened carefully. Jiraiya said, "The Toad Sage called me to him to tell me a prediction." "What did he say?" asked Minato. "He said, in the future, a man with red eyes will come to enslave the shinobi world, and the only person who can save it will be a girl with infinite power. She will have to unite everyone and fight against the man with red eyes, but if she isn't strong enough or lets herself be consumed by the darkness, the whole world will die," Jiraiya said. "And you think it's Yumi, right?" Minato asked, and Jiraiya gave a nod. Jiraiya said, "She has to be. She has the Kyuubi's chakra. If she knew how to use it right, she would have infinite power. I want to ask for your permission to let her sign the Toad contract, and I want to start training her. The contract can be signed by her. And don't worry, her training has already begun. A year ago, we started training her. She is good at a lot of things." Minato said, "She will be even better than us." "Well, that's good to hear. What about your other child? What was his name?" Jiraiya asked. "You mean Naruto? He's good. He also wanted to train, but I told him not to." Minato added, "He also doesn't have as much talent as Yumi." Jiraiya asked, "So you don't train him? Then why didn't he try to train himself?" "He tried it, but now my Ambu agents are always watching him," Minato said. Jiraiya asked with some worry, "Isn't this a bit much? Ambu agents? He can't train alone because it's too dangerous. We can't keep an eye on it because we have to keep an eye on Yumi's training. Kushina also doesn't want him to become a shinobi because he doesn't have a lot of chakra." Minato said, "Even with training, he wouldn't be a high Junin when he's at his best." Jiraiya agreed. Jiraiya said, "Then he won't join the academy with no worry. We haven't made up our minds yet. But if we let him join, he might realize that the life of a shinobi isn't for him," Minato said, and Jiraiya nodded. Jiraiya replied, "Well, you're his parents, so you know what's best for him." Jiraiya went on, "I will come see you at night, and Yumi can sign the contract then." "Where are you going?" Minato asked, but he knew it was pointless to do so. Jiraiya said, "I'm going to do some research," and then he left. At night, Jiraiya went to Minato's house, but he was beaten very badly. Jiraiya told Minato and Kushina that Naruto bothered him when he was doing his important research, and because he was loud, the women noticed him and beat him. Minato and Kushina didn't punish Naruto. Flashback ends. Minato in the past. 1 year after Naruto and Yumi started at the academy, Kushina and Minato talked about Naruto's progress. Naruto wasn't a bad student. He was in the middle of his class. Maybe he could have done better, but his teachers always kicked him out of class for stupid reasons. This didn't stop Naruto from trying harder after each time, which Kushina didn't like. "Minato, I'm afraid Naruto won't stop. He really wants to be a shinobi. We need to do something about that. You know I don't want him to get hurt. He'll never be as strong as you, me, or Yumi," Kushina said, and Minato agreed with her. Minato said, "I agree, and I have an idea," and Kushina looked at her with interest. Minato said, "The daughter of the Wind Daimyo is the same age as Naruto. Maybe we could set up a marriage between them. This way, Naruto could train himself, but he couldn't go on dangerous missions because he would be a member of royalty. It would also strengthen our alliance with them." Kushina agreed. "I agree with what you said. So we can keep our son safe," Kushina said with a smile. Minato, on the other hand, was thinking that if this worked, they might get cheaper ores from Wind Country and who knows what else. Minato and Kushina's plan fell apart because the Wind Daimyo didn't want his daughter to get married so soon. Flashback ends. Minato in the past. Minato, Kushina, and Yumi walked silently to the academy, and Naruto kept a safe distance behind them. When they reached the academy's gate, the Chunin instructor greeted them. The teacher smiled and said, "Good morning, Hokage-sama, Kushina-sama, and Yumi-sama." "Good morning, sensei. How do you feel today?" asked Yumi. "Thank you for asking, but I'm fine," said the teacher. "I hope Yumi doesn't do anything during class that would bother you," Minato said. The teacher said, "Of course not. She is the perfect student. She always listens and takes notes in class, and she also helps the other students. You should be proud." "Of course I am. She is going to make a great shinobi. No one will be stronger, smarter, or better than her." Minato said, "She will show that what I and the other Hokages have taught is the best." The teacher nodded. "I couldn't have said it better myself, Hokage-sama," said the teacher as the bell rang. The teacher said, "Okay, Yumi-sama, say goodbye to your parents. Class is about to start." He bowed and went back into the building. Yumi said goodbye to her parents and went inside. Neither of them knew that Naruto had heard everything. Naruto was angry that the teacher didn't even mention him, even though he always paid attention and took notes in class. But it hurt more that his parents didn't think much of him. Flashback ends. After this third flashback, Minato had more memories of the war, when he killed a lot of people. Flashback, Kushina. Kushina was in the kitchen making dinner. She made ramen twice a week. She loved cooking for her family, but she was distracted when she heard that someone had broken something in the house. When she went to see what was broken, she saw that it was a vase that her mother had given her from her old home. She called her kids right away. Kushina yelled, "Naruto, Yumi, come here right away." When they got to their mom, they saw that she was angry. "Who broke my favorite vase?" asked Kushina. Yumi said, "It couldn't have been me, Mom. I was in the garden practicing my taijutsu," and Kushina remembered that she had just seen Yumi outside. "Then it was you, Naruto," said Kushina. Naruto said, "But I was in my room. If I had come down, you would have heard me," but Kushina didn't believe him. But Naruto didn't know why. Everyone knew that when someone steps on one of the stairs, it will creak. And it's hard to ignore. "Maybe this time you were quiet. Go to your room now." Kushina said in a serious voice, "You are grounded for a month, and because you lied, you don't get dinner tonight." But, said Naruto. Kushina said, "One more word and it will be 2 months." Naruto knew it was pointless to fight her, so he went back to his room. When Kushina went back to the kitchen, Yumi looked up and saw herself. It was a shadow clone she made to get Naruto in trouble. They high-fived, and then the clone disappeared. After this, accidents like this happened a lot. Minato and Kushina always blamed. Flashback ends. Flashback Kushina. On a Sunday afternoon, Kushina, the other wives of the Shinobi Council, and Sume got together at the Namikaze home for a lady meeting. This time, they talked about anything that came to mind and drank tea while they did it. During the meeting, one of the wives asked Kushina about Naruto. She hated Naruto and hoped Kushina would say something she could use against him. Well, Naruto is hardly the perfect child. He always makes trouble. He is average at the academy. And next to Yumi, we don't have enough time to him. I try and try, but it seems nothing works. However, Yumi couldn't be better. She is the best student at the academy. She always helps me and others. She doesn't look for trouble and so on. I hope she will be just like me," said Kushina with a smile. "Kushina, aren't you a little vain and dishonest? Were you also a troublemaker?" Sume asked. "Yes, but by their age, I'm the better student. And if I'm a little vain, show me someone who isn't," Kushina said. "Maybe meeting Minato made you a better student. Maybe Naruto would change if he had a girlfriend, too," said Sume, and the others laughed. "Naruto and a girlfriend? Not likely. Because of how he acts, he doesn't have any friends. If he was like Yumi Mei, he would have friends. I tried to raise him right, but it looks like not everything can go as planned, Kushina said, and the others nodded because even their kids like to do stupid things. Flashback ends. After this flashback, Kushina had a memory of when she killed a lot of people during the war. Minato and Kushina then went back to the real world. They both breathed out. They thought the flashbacks went on for hours, but they were only there for a minute. They were so tired they could barely breathe. Everyone was surprised that Naruto had been able to make them fall to their knees. Naruto walked up to them, pulled out his scythe, and put the blade against their necks. When they both looked up, they saw Naruto's angry eyes. How did it go? Did your sins make you enjoy the ride? Naruto asked, but Kushina and Minato didn't know what to say. Naruto said, "You betrayed me. You wanted to sell me to the Wind Daimyo. You killed a lot of people, even innocent ones. Don't forget that you smell of greed, pride, and vanity. You disgust me." Minato and Kushina wanted to apologize, but Naruto went on before they could. "I could kill you right now, but I won't," she said. "Why do you ask?" Naruto asked, and they were stunned. "Because it would be too easy. If I killed you, there would be no one but Yumi I could blame for my terrible life. Also, it's nice to have you at my feet." "It's so refreshing," Naruto said, but Kuretsuchi grabbed his arm before he could say anything else. "Please, Naruto. You made your point." Kuretsuchi said, "Let them go," and Naruto stopped. Naruto said, "Okay, I'm done." He then put his scythe on his back. Naruto said, "Minato, remember this day well because it was the day you could lose your life because of your weak and useless son." Onoki, Kuretsuchi, and the delegate followed him, and they were gone in a minute. The senseis helped Minato and Kushina get up. They took them to the hospital. Tsunade did a check, but she didn't find anything. After a few hours, Minato, Kushina, and Yumi went home to relax. Minato and Kushina told Yumi everything that happened. Yumi was a little happy that she only had to face one sin, but her parents had to face many sins. When Yumi heard about the memory when the vase was broken, she admitted that it was she who broke it. She also said that every time they punished Naruto, it should have been her who was punished, not Naruto. "Mom, I think Naruto-sama will always hate us," Yumi said, and Kushina's eyes got very big. "About what are you talking? He will let go of his anger. We just need to wait a few years, and then we'll invite him back and talk about everything. Who knows? By then, he might not want to be a shinobi anymore." "Minato, right?" Kushina asked, but Minato didn't answer right away. Minato told Kushina, "Maybe Yumi is right this time, Kushina. Naruto hates us so much that I don't even know where to start to make things right." Kushina couldn't believe what she was hearing. "Minato, don't say this. I'm sure Naruto will forgive us, and he'll quit in time." Kushina said, "You know he's not cut out to be a shinobi," but Minato just shook his head. Minato said, "Right now, we can't do anything about Naruto, so we'll wait and see what the future holds for us." He then followed Yumi out of the room. Kushina waited a few more minutes in the room. "I am sure that he will forgive us." I know. Kushina said, "I know," over and over again, and when she was done, she started crying because she wasn't sure she was right. After Naruto left the village, Sasuke ran away to join Orochimaru. Yumi, Shikamaru, Choji, Neji, Kiba, and Akamaru were sent to catch him. Eventually, Rock Lee, Gaara, Kankuro, and Tamari joined them, and with their help, they killed the Sound Five. However, Sasuke beat Yumi, so the mission failed. After that, everyone realized they weren't strong enough, so they. "Chiyo-sama, if we want to beat him, we have to fight together," Sakura said, and Chiyo nodded. Chiyo said, "Very well, Sakura-san. Get ready, because Sasori is dangerous. Come at me. I'll add you to my collection." Sasori shouted through his puppet. Sakura yelled, "We can beat you together, you freak." Before anyone could attack, they heard some knocking and turned around to see a man. "I'm sorry, Haruno Sakura, but you have no chance against Sasori. Chiyo-sama could fight him for a while, but she too would lose," said the mysterious man. "What are you? How dare you be rude to me?" Sakura yelled, "I was trained by Hitaki Kakashi, who is one of the strongest Junin in my village. I dare to insult you because you are still a want Tobi Kunoichi who wants nothing more than to be that pathetic Uchiha's wife," said the mysterious man, who then moved closer so they could see him. "Naruto? Naruto?" The man who came out was Naruto, but he was taller and his hair was shorter, and he was wearing an Iwa headband instead of a Konoha one. He moved closer so he could see his opponent, but when he stood in front of Sakura, she had to say something. "What the hell are you doing here, Naruto Baka?" Sakura's face turned bright red as she screamed. Naruto didn't turn around to talk to her face to face. "I'm here to help you because I was told to, and nothing else." Sakura wasn't happy with Naruto's answer. She grabbed his arm to turn him towards her, but as soon as she did, she saw her arm cut off. She screamed like a banshee, and when she looked at Naruto again, she thought she saw a demon in a cape and hood. Chiyo grabbed Sakura to calm her down, and then Sakura saw her arm wasn't cut off. "Did you use a genjutsu on me?" asked Sakura as she ran out of breath. "No," said Naruto dryly. "What did you do then?" Fearfully, Sakura asked. "What you saw wasn't a genjutsu. I learned to control my chakra so well that when someone sensed my chakra, they could see what could happen to them if they made me angry. But if someone grabs me and I send my chakra into your body, I can do the same thing. Only a small amount of my chakra went. But there were times when I gave someone so much chakra that they killed themselves. So next time, be careful," Naruto said it in the same tone. "You just want to look stronger than Sasuke-kun, but your little trick didn't work on him. Anyway, he left the village because you couldn't accept that he was better than any of us and gave him your scythe," Sakura screamed, and Naruto only let out a sigh. "If I were you, little girl, I wouldn't try to make him mad," Sasori said, who was getting bored. "What did you say, you freak? I can insult him as much as I want. He has the soul of the Kyuubi and is a demon," Sakura cried out. "You don't know any of his nicknames, then? Because the demon would be only one of the milder one," said Sasori. "Nicknames?" asked Sakura, but she didn't know what Sasori was talking about. "Yes. For instance, the Butcher of Iwa, the Fallen Angel, the Deathbringer, and so on. You are almost as well known in the Akatsuki as we are. We would invite you to join us if you weren't a target," Sasori said this through his puppet. "What kind of names are those? I bet they are just made up." Sakura didn't like what she heard. "Oh, but you should be scared of him," she said. "After he left Konoha and became an Iwa shinobi, our spies told us that he only took jobs where he could kill someone. Nearly 1,000 people have died because of him. Or perhaps more." Sasori and Sakura were shocked by what she said. "I'm sorry to make you sad, but I've killed almost 400 or 500 people," said Naruto. "It makes no difference. A lot of people died because of you." "You are just as bad as we are," said Sasori. "I wouldn't say this to anyone, but he is right. You are a murderer and a demon. You have killed a lot of people because you enjoy it, and I think they were all innocent," Sakura said, sure that she was right. "Innocent?" Naruto asked Sakura and turned to her with bloodthirsty eyes. Sakura opened her eyes wide and took a few steps back. "None of them were innocent. I killed murderers, tyrants, rapists, bandits, people who sold young women as sex slaves or worse, people who wanted to start wars, and so on. Maybe I am a murderer and I enjoy killing, but I did more than you will ever do," Naruto said it, and Sakura was scared of him after that. Naruto went back to Sasori and pulled his scythe out of his bag. "I'm done with this nobody. Sasori, let's start fighting." Chiyo tried to stop Naruto, but he was too fast. Sasori's puppet, Hirako, opened his mouth and started firing needles at Naruto. Naruto dodged them quickly, but he didn't have time to rest because Sasori used the puppet's left arm. Like the head, this arm fired needles. Naruto knew he couldn't dodge all of them, so he started to spin his scythe to deflect them. Impressive, very impressive. Very few people could get away from my needles without getting hurt, but the game is over. Sasori said, "Send the poison from Hirako's tail to stop Naruto." But when the tail was close, Naruto was able to cut it off with no trouble. This surprised Sasori, and before he could do anything, Naruto showed up in front of him. He put all of his chakra into the scythe and cut the puppet with so much power that it broke into pieces. Before he could realize that he had killed Sasori, something jumped out of Hirako, who was already broken. It had been a long time since someone could beat Hirako and make me leave it. "I am impressed Uzumaki Naruto," Sasori said this after he stood up, but something didn't seem right. He was too young. Naruto thought, "There's something wrong." When I looked at his puppet, I didn't see anything, so I knew it was a puppet. But when I look at him, I don't see any of his sins, so he must be a puppet too. But where is his real body? "Alright, Sasori, I'm done with your dolls. Show me your real body," asked Naruto in an angry way. "Are you blind? He's right there in front of you." Sakura's voice was annoying as she said it. "No, the boy is right. This Sasori standing in front of us is too young." "But how do you know it's a puppet?" A question from Naruto to Chiyo. "When I look into the eyes of a person, I can see their sins. I couldn't see anything when I looked at the puppet I broke, and the same was true when I looked into his eyes," Naruto said while pointing at Sasori. Sasori knew there was no point in trying to hide it anymore, so he laughed and said, "You're right, I am a puppet, but I am more than just a puppet," Sasori said. "I'll take my coat off," and he did. Then he saw the puppet's core inside its body. "I made myself eternal. I am immortal just like my art. I'm safe from you," Sasori said, "then I'll laugh," and she did. "Don't be so sure. Maybe you turned your body into a puppet, but that core still makes you immortal. No one can trick death, and I will make sure of that," said Naruto. "We will see," said Sasori. Sasori thought, "Unfortunately, I can't use the performance of 100 puppets on him because he's good at killing a lot of enemies quickly. So the best option is one strong puppet." She could use the third cage, but she was afraid it would die the same way Hirako did. So the best option was herself. "You're lucky, Naruto Uzumaki. I haven't used myself in a long time, so get ready," Sasori said. "I'll burn you all," and then he turned on the flamethrowers in his hands. Everyone ran away from the flames. Sasori wanted to split them up so he could kill each of them on his own. He jumped to kill Sakura when he saw that she was far from the other two. But Chiyo was faster, and she pulled her away with some chakra threads before Sasori could cut her down. Naruto saw this as a chance to attack Sasori, so he tried to hurt her. But Sasori saw him and was quick to act. He was safe because of the blades on his body. But Naruto wasn't stupid, so he started putting his chakra into the scythe to make it stronger and sharper. After a few seconds, he broke the blades by cutting through them. Before Naruto could cut him in half, Sasori could jump back in time. Chiyo wanted to help Naruto with a few puppets, but Naruto said no because he wanted to kill this jerk. Sasori saw that his plan wasn't going to work, so he decided that the best thing to do was use the performance of 100 puppets. Even if he is good at fighting when there are a lot of enemies, he can't always avoid getting hurt. "And if my poison hurts him, I will win," Sasori thought. Then he called for his puppets. But it's hard to move 100 puppets, so when they attacked Naruto, they lost a lot of them quickly. Naruto made sure to cut the chakra threads off as well. But Naruto saw that after a while, the puppets got faster and better at what they did. It is a problem for someone who is fighting a puppeteer. Less puppets are easier to control because you don't have to pay as much attention to them. Naruto was getting tired of these puppets, so he did what he thought was next best. He will kill them all at once. He jumped into the middle of the puppets and then started to use his mana. He threw it at the scythe, and the blade began to glow blue. The first blade was suddenly joined by a second one. It was also blue. Then the blades got 5 times bigger than they would have been before. It only took Naruto a second to do this, and when he was ready, he cut down every puppet with one quick move. But he didn't just cut down Sasori's puppets. He also cut Sasori down. When Sasori saw that he was hurt badly in the middle of his body, he fell to his knees. It was too hard to keep the body in check. He tried moving his fingers, but he couldn't. He could do nothing else but talk. Naruto walked over to him to finish up. Sasori saw that Naruto was very tired when he looked at him. A lot of his mana went into his last attack. He also had to use a lot of his chakra. As I said before, no one can trick death, Naruto said this as he puffed. It looks like you were right. I won't fight you, so do what you have to do. Sasori and Naruto wanted to kill him, he said, but... Wait. Sakura yelled, and Naruto and Sasori both turned to look at her. I heard that you worked with Orochimaru, so you must know where he is with my Sasuke-kun, said Sakura. Yes, I was his partner. I don't know where he is, though. But that traitor has to be killed, so I'll tell you something. In 10 days, I was supposed to meet one of my spies who is watching Orochimaru. You can find out where he is by asking him. He will be at the bridge in Tenchi. I have nothing else to say. Sasori said that Sakura wanted to talk to him to find out more, but Naruto killed him before she could. We could have learned more about Orochimaru if you hadn't killed him. Sakura's annoying banshee voice came out. Really, you think he would tell you everything you wanted to know? Asked Naruto. We should have taken him back to the village, where they would have questioned him. Said Sakura. He would have died in a few minutes even if I hadn't killed him. His core was so badly hurt by my last attack that he couldn't be saved, said Naruto, but Sakura didn't believe it. That's not possible, said Sakura. He couldn't move his fingers, and the only thing he could do was talk. He was dead. The story is over. Let's go find the rest. Naruto said this and started to leave. Sakura tried to stop him, but he had already gone to find the others. When they found them, they were around the dead K's cage. Yumi was very happy to see her long-lost brother, but she didn't have time to be happy. Because Gaara was dead, but with Chio's jutsu and Yumi's chakra, they were able to revive the K's cage. They saved Gaara and killed Sas. Wait, Ni-sama. Why don't you come back to Konoha with us? You could tell us what happened and we could catch up a bit, asked Yumi. It doesn't matter. I've already given Kakashi my report. Your cage will get it from him. Also, I'll see you in a month and tell you how great my marriage is. Naruto said this, and they thought his marriage was a terrible idea. Is it really that bad? Yumi asked with some worry. No. It's not too bad. You don't care as much about me as Kuretsuchi does. I care about her too, because I don't want to be like you or our dear parents. Said Naruto, and Yumi became sad. I have to leave, but I'll see you in a month, Naruto spoke, and then he left. After that, Yumi left with his team with tears in her eyes. When they got back to Minato and told him what happened, he called Yamato right away to help the team because Kakashi was hurt. So, Yumi, Sai, Sakura, and Yamato left a few days later to meet this spy that Sasori had talked about. They were trying to catch him. When they found out that Kabuto was the spy, everyone was shocked. But they couldn't catch him because Orochimaru showed up at the same time. They wanted to kill Sasori, but Naruto had already done that for them. They left because they had nothing to do with Yumi's team. They couldn't let them get away, though, so they chased them back to their base. As soon as they got inside, they started looking for Sasuke and anything else that could help. They eventually found Sasuke, but he didn't care that they were there. Only killing his brother was his goal. Sasuke, Orochimaru, and Kabuto left the base before they could do anything. The mission did not work. As soon as Naruto left Suna, he went back to Iwa. He's been on missions for the past 2 months. He wanted to get some rest. He got there in 3 days. He began by giving his report. When he was done, he left, but Onoki told him that Kuretsuchi is a little upset with him because she hasn't seen him much in the last few months. When he got home, he was ready for anything. In the village, they had their own flat. So when he opened the door, he thought something would fly at him, but all he saw was Kuretsuchi standing in front of him with her arms folded. He knew that she was mad. "Hi Kuretsuchi. How are things? Were you getting your hair cut?" He tried to trick Naruto, but it didn't work. "Naruto, you tried to trick me, but you can't. Where have you been for the last 2 months?" asked Kuretsuchi in a furious way. "I did missions like always," said Naruto. "Every night I waited for you to come home. I cooked you dinner and ran you a bath, but you never did. You didn't tell me anything about this thing you said you had to do, so I started to think you were trying to avoid me." Then Kuretsuchi sat down on the couch. Naruto knew he had to take action. Naruto might have been a murderer, but he loved Kuretsuchi. "I am sorry. I didn't want to make you angry. It is just a..." Kuretsuchi looked at Naruto and then sighed. "It's just that we have to go back to Konoha in a month, and I don't want to. After 3 years in Iwa, my blood has calmed down. Here, I only have to worry about you. I don't have to worry about my parents, the civilian council, or those who want to take my side," said Naruto, and Kuretsuchi understood it. "Why didn't just tell me? We're married, so we should talk about our problems and figure out how to solve them," Kuretsuchi said, and Naruto nodded his head. "You are right, and I apologize," Naruto spoke, and then he stood up. "Come with me, and I'll take you to a restaurant to make you feel better," Naruto said this, but Kuretsuchi was up to something else. "I don't want to go out. I want to stay home with you and be pampered because I was so lonely," said Kuretsuchi, but Naruto didn't understand. "What do you mean by that?" asked Naruto. "I mean shut up, take your trousers off and hold on," he said, then Kuretsuchi jumped on Naruto, the man said. While they were having fun, something interesting happened in the Great Toad Sage's chamber. The sage was resting when all of a sudden he saw something else. It was the same as the last one, but even worse. Right away, he called Fukasaku. "Call Jiraiya right away, Fukasaku. I had a vision." The sage said this, and Fukasaku called Jiraiya to him right away. "What the heck?" asked the toad caller, who was surprised. "Before you start talking about why we called you, the sage had a vision," Fukasaku and Jiraiya said. "Turn to the sage," and they did. "I am listening," Jiraiya said this, and the sage agreed. "Now I saw the whole picture. I saw a black-haired boy with a scythe. He knelt down in front of 2 graves, and then, out of anger and sadness, he used that scythe to destroy the shinobi world. All of the shinobi were dead, and the hidden villages were on fire. He will make this world into hell," the wise man said. "Wait, you said his hair was black, right?" Jiraiya asked, and the sage gave a nod. "He didn't look like this back then," the sage looked at him and then spoke. "There are some similarities, but no, because he had black hair and no whisker marks on his face, as I already said," the wise man said. "And this is what the scythe looked like?" Jiraiya was asked, so he took a scroll and turned it into a scythe. The sage looked at this and nodded. "Yes, this is how the scythe looked," the sage said this, and Jiraiya began to think. If Naruto isn't the one who destroys the world, then who is? He took the scythe from someone very strong, but how? Jiraiya was thinking about these things. "Thank you, wise man. I have to tell Minato this. Maybe he knows who this boy with black hair is," Jiraiya said this, but the sage stopped him before he could leave. "Be careful, Jiraiya. This boy doesn't know what mercy means, and he'll kill anyone who gets in his way," Jiraiya went back to Konoha after what the sage had said. When he got there, he told Minato everything he knew right away. He was glad that Naruto wasn't the one who would end the world. But he didn't know anyone who this boy with black hair could be. So right now, the best thing to do is to wait. Naruto and Kuretsuchi came back to the village after a month. Because of something, Kuretsuchi was happy, but Naruto was upset. The first reason is that he had to be here. The second is that he knew people were looking at him. The people in the village weren't too happy that he came back, and Hinata, who was a coward, also watched him. She didn't seem to be able to move on. They didn't want to stay for too long. They will talk for a little while and then leave right away the next day. Minato, Kushina, Yumi, Jiraiya, and Tsunade were there when they got to the Hokage's office. "Hi, dear father. I'm back because you asked us to," said Naruto dryly. "I'm glad to see you again, Naruto. I hope everything is fine in Iwa." Minato had asked. "Yes, everything is fine, but if you really wanted to know, I could have sent you a letter." Naruto and Kuretsuchi hit his arm, he said. "Don't be rude. We have to tell them that anyway, and you can't say that in a letter," said Kuretsuchi. "That doesn't have to be told to them," Naruto said it, "and now everyone wants to know what it means." "Can you tell me about what you're talking?" asked Jiraiya. "It's not a big deal," Naruto replied, but Kuretsuchi hit him again on the arm. "How can you say it doesn't matter when it does?" asked Kuretsuchi. "I meant that it didn't matter to them," said Naruto. "Well, if you don't tell them, I will," she said. Kuretsuchi, who was upset with Naruto because he didn't want to tell this important news, said this. "Why is this so important?" Minato asked, and Kuretsuchi replied. "I am pregnant." When the other people heard what Kuretsuchi had said, their jaws dropped. Kushina was excited to become a grandmother, and Yumi was excited to become an aunt. Jiraiya and Minato saw something else though. The sage said that the boy with black hair was like Naruto. She doesn't have whiskers, and her hair is black. And when Naruto's child was old enough, he would give his scythe to him. Jiraiya and Minato thought the same thing, but they could agree on one thing. The sage was talking about Naruto's son. He will be the one to bring the shinobi world to an end.
So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel for more awesome stories like this. Thank you. See you all in my next video.